So in this video, we're going to talk about where you're creating work, where you're saving work, but more importantly, how do you get that work into your digital portfolio? So at this point, you should already have your portfolio in your Google Sites, and you should just know how to access it and begin to add work. So now you want to open up Google Chrome. You should already be logged into your portfolio. Again, first letter of your first name, last name at pemibaker.org is your username. Password is if you've never logged into your Pemibaker account. If you have and you don't remember your password, you're going to have to see Mr. Potter in the front office. He'll be able to get you in. I can't help you if you come here to 201, so just go see Mr. Potter and he'll help get you in. At this point, you should be able to see your dashboard here. If you go to your dashboard, you can actually access your Google site. I have quite a few of them in my space. Hopefully you'll see your name there. If you don't see anything here, then you need to go back to video 1 and actually register for your portfolio. So here's a copy of the template that I have here. If you don't see the Bobcat on your portfolio, then you have the wrong template. We do have 2 seniors right now that have the wrong template, and if you want to know if that's you, you should stop by 201. That's documented here, and I can let you know. So all that means is when you created the template, you selected the wrong one. So if it doesn't look like this, then you probably have the wrong one. It's not a big deal. All we need to do is delete the one you selected and make sure that we get you the right one, and you want to do that pretty early. So now I'm in the portfolio, and I actually can begin to edit. So if you'll notice, in each, we have 8 school graduation expectations. So in here, so for written communication, if you'll notice, we are connected to the school-wide rubric. So if you want to know what type of work is proficient, please refer to the school-wide rubric. Your language in your reflection should clearly state why you feel your work is proficient. Anything below that falls in developing or beginning shouldn't be put in your portfolio. This is for proficient or advanced work only. So you are required to have 3 of those in your portfolio. Let me go back to there, go to written communication. My edit tools are loaded, so now I actually can work right in my portfolio. I need 3 pieces of work, artifact 1, 2, and 3. Now, how do I get it in here? So we're going to show you how to get the work into your portfolio. Remember, we want to keep it pretty neat and organized. We want things to be visually laid out so that the portfolio is pretty easy to navigate through. So when you go back to your Google Drive, here, this is a great place to save work. In the past, we've always recommended that you use your network space or your hard drive. We don't have to do that anymore. What's great about this is that you can actually access your work from home. So if you have something that you've created in the library and you want to be able to work on it from home, you would actually go to your Google Drive. When you get here, you're going to notice I have quite a few folders. They continue to add up. So here's from last year. If you'll notice, if I go in here, I have a ton of work in here. If I didn't create files and folders, I probably wouldn't be able to function because there are just so many files. So let's say I created a file and I kind of forgot to put it into a folder. It's not a problem. So now you can actually take that piece of, I have an untitled form here, and I'm going to actually drag and drop it into my folder. Realistically, you really want to have a freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior year folder. I know we do that freshman year to get you prepared, but if you haven't done that yet, you can actually go over here and create a new folder. So I would spend some time getting this space organized before you start building your portfolio. Because if you're unorganized, it's going to be pretty tough. You know, if you're here for a year, 2, 3 years, you're going to have a lot of files all over the place. And it's important for even now or even beyond high school is learn how to get your computer organized. You're really doing yourself a big favor by spending some time getting yourself set up beforehand. So now let's imagine for a second I want to put a document into my portfolio. And let's say it's something that I created on the computer. If you look over here, I actually have a production crew document here that I created in Microsoft Word, but I really want to get it into my portfolio. So the best option here, which is the one that I'm going to recommend, of course it's the best one because I'm recommending it, is I'm going to actually upload this to my Google Drive. What that allows me to do is, one, I'm backing up my file, but I'm also putting it in a place where I can create a shareable link. The nice thing about this is you have one piece of work that you're creating a link to that you can share. Imagine for a second you sent an email out to 5 different people. You have 5 different attachments, 5 different copies landing on 5 different computers. You have no control on where those go from there. The nice thing about uploading a document and creating a link to it is that if you have full control over that document. There's only one copy and you're in control of it. So if you decide you want to take it down, you can do that, and you're just breaking the link to the people that are linked to it. So it's just a great option as opposed to sharing an attachment. So I want to upload that file to my 2015, 2016. I can see I already have it here because I've done this before. So I'm going to delete this, put it in my little trash can here. So now I'm going to go to New, File, Upload. I'm going to navigate to my desktop and put in that production crew sheet. Now you can see I have a production crew sheet here. Now, once you have a file uploaded, or one that you can actually create a Google Doc and have the same option. Either way, you have this little person up here. This is your share. A couple of things you want to think about when you get here. You want to share the shareable link when you get inside here, and then you can copy the link. You want to make sure that someone can view, edit, or comment on your document. You need to determine that ahead of time. So once you have your shareable link, now if you can notice, it's a big, long, ugly link with a lot of letters and numbers. So what we want to do is break that down into smaller parts. So we want to copy that link and go to Done. Now our goal is to get that link into your portfolio. So if I go back to the written communication section of my portfolio, you can see in my Artifact 1, I want to be able to link to that document and also be able to write a solid reflection on that learning experience. So when I go up into my edit tools, the first thing I want to do is create some text that we're going to link to. Remember, we just don't want to paste the link because then you got that big, long, ugly code. So you can just name the document. So I'm going to write production crew. Can you see production crew there? Now I can take this text right there, and I can create a link to a web address, and I can paste that right in there, and I'm going to hit OK. Now I have a nice clean link to a document that I've uploaded to my Google Drive. You can link to a folder. Let's say if you have a folder of work or a folder of writing that you want to put in there, you can do that. You could link to an image. You could link to a spreadsheet. You can link to pretty much whatever you want, as long as one, you've uploaded it, but you also have to remember to make sure that you have the permissions changed on the document so people can view it. So I would always go back before you're done. I just have to take this out. I would always go back before you're done and make sure, double check the permissions on the document. I always go back. So anyone at the SAU can view it, unless you don't have the option to do it public as a student. But for me, if I was posting something that I wanted parents and students to be able to read, I would make sure that the permissions is set up correctly for that. So in a nutshell, that's pretty much how you're going to put something in your portfolio. The only other option, which could create a pretty messy view, would be to add the file, which would add an attachment down here, and then you can refer to the file and reflect here. So that's how you're going to add some work to your portfolio.